Hello, welcome to a very unique episode of Move and Improve with the person behind Let's Get Moving and Move and Improve podcast, Tiam. Stay tuned for some crazy stories, his personal life, and business philosophy. Investors or business partners?
You know, I would have chosen investors before. Now I'm a lot more open to partnerships. Man, if you spoke with me like a couple of years ago, I would have said I will never have a partner for the rest of my life. But when I started hiring specialists, such as the Google ads and SEO, and I met some good people here. And I liked who they were. I liked how they operated. So I opened a marketing company with my Google Ads guy and my SEO manager because I saw what they were capable of. And I realized that together we could accomplish great things. Right now, everywhere you go, every industry you go to, you are facing teams. You are facing big teams, and you will never have a chance all by yourself, right? Unless you've got great partners or great team members, you're not going to make an impact. And I've partnered up with Tighten Up Retreat. I've partnered up with those moving company owners in Florida. Had nothing but a great experience with them. I opened up Moved In with my long-term friend, and I opened up Black Moose. All of this happened in the last year, right? So prior to that, I would have always said no business partnerships because I like the way they're done, and that's just how it has to be. But I realize that's not the way. There are many good other ways of doing things, and I have to be open to partnerships, to listening, and that's the only way we'll get better and grow bigger and do better things together. So I believe in partnerships now. But look, I've got franchisees that are partners that bring each other down, that point fingers at each other instead of being responsible, instead of uplifting each other. And then I've got franchisees who are amazing partners and who are generating $3 million a year, who have done a great job with operating, expanding, growing, and they work well together. So I've seen the worst, I've seen the best. I think if you set it up properly, you can have good partnerships. Just need to do it right with the right people.
Experience or innovation?
I would have said experience, but now I would say innovation. The world is changing so fast. With AI, I think that with a simple innovation, you can make experiences go away. You can make experiences disappear, right? In this day and age, I would say innovation.
Scaling or optimizing?
I would say you should only scale after you've optimized, right? If your business is running at 50%, what are you going to do? Buy another business that's going to do 50%? You're just going to set yourself up wrong, right? I would say optimize your current business, optimize everything you do, make sure you are taking advantage of the market as best as you can, make sure your sales, your marketing, your customer service, everything is absolutely optimized, and you've got a great business that's automated, and then you can talk about scaling.
What's the true power of the franchise model?
The true power is a model that works, community, right? We learn so much from each other. Our franchisees have made us better. They've introduced programs, they've done a lot of things to make the entire community better. So I would say from us is the proven model. Step one, we make money, right? And we want to invest in the right people. We don't want to amplify the wrong characteristics, the wrong attributes, right? If somebody's if somebody's a shitty person, you give them money, they just become even a shittier person, right? So I would invest in really good people and yeah.
Okay. So now I will ask you the same question twice, but answer one for franchising and one for B2C customers, right?
Okay.
The question would be, if you had to pitch Let's Get Moving under 60 seconds, what your pitch would be?
For franchisees would be that, there's a when you any business, there's always a back end and a front end component. So what I mean by that is the front end is always, let's say in regards to moving, the front end is the trucks, the movers, executing the job, collecting the payment. That's the front end. Now the back end is just like any other business. It consists of many things: marketing, customer service, sales, and many, many other things in between. So I would say that we do everything. We make it easy, right? So what we do is we take care of the marketing for you. We take care of the customer service for you. We take care of the sales for you. We literally give you a job on your platter with a $100 deposit attached to it. So we say it's an Uber style business, like a Uber driver, where they don't have to worry about where the next customer comes from. This is the same thing in our industry. This is the same thing in our franchise, where we fill up your schedule. All you need to do is make sure you've got great movers. Do the fun part. Have the trucks, have the office, go on the jobs with the movers, have a good time, right? Do the part, do the execution and enjoy it while we take care of all the hard stuff, right? And I realized that's been our specialty, where we do all the back end, right? If we do it right, let's just do it for everybody so that it's centralized, it's being done with systems and processes and the right people every day. And the franchise, all they got to do is take care of the jobs and execute the service, collect the money, and as simple as that.
Okay, now the same but for customers, right? I will ask the same question, but now pitch it to the customers. If you had to pitch Let's Get Moving to our potential customers under 60 seconds, what would it be?
It's been a very long time since I've done that. But from what I remember, our moving company makes it really simple with just one hourly rate, right? You don't have to worry about tape, shrink wrap, truck fees, or fuel fees, or dismantling fees, or long distance fees, or this or that. All these things are out of the question with us, right? We give you an hourly rate. You are in control of your move. We include the truck, the movers, the materials. Everything's all inclusive in this one hourly rate. We charge from when we leave until we get back. We really target our customers who are really close to our office so that we can hopefully have a drive time of 15, 20 minutes there, 15, 20 minutes back, while other moving companies are charging an hour to 2 hour or truck fees. So we make it really simple, and we're a local business. So we target only the local area within 15 to 20 minute radius. And we service those customers so that their travel fees are very little. And we provide trained movers, insured movers, and valuation is included in the hourly rate, so you don't have to pay anything extra. We come in, you are in control of your move. You want 3 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours, whatever you want. Our experienced, trained movers, caring movers are there to take care of your job as you like.
That's great.
That's what I would say. It's probably a terrible pitch, but our sales agents would do a way better job.
How do you see moving industry changing in the next 5 years?
I mean, the moving industry has just gotten smarter, I feel like. And we're getting very innovative. There's a lot of young players in the industry. And recently, there has been, I think in the last 7 to 8 years, there has been many conferences and seminars strictly for the moving industry. And the networking has been crazy between our competitors and friends. I think the moving industry is just getting smarter and better every year. And we are all trying to uplift each other so that we can charge more and actually bring value to our business and the hard work that we put, instead of trying to kind of one-up each other in terms of lower pricing and completely bring down the industry. And we just all become, very minimal. I don't know how to say it, but just a company that charges barely anything, right? So that's what we're trying to all stay away from, and at all these conferences, that's kind of always the goal, to uplift each other and better the industry, and never try to make it lower quality or cheaper. This is a luxury, so we're trying to treat it as such.
That's great. So you've mentioned that lots of accountants and lawyers, they learned from your dime. Mm-hmm. Have you ever personally learned from someone else's dime?
No, just my own. Just my own. I'm very good at making all kinds of mistakes. I'm very good at not being afraid to spend money. I think I get my answers a lot faster whenever I fail really quickly. So that's always been my motto: spend a lot, fail quickly, win quickly, right? What's the point of being in this A B testing for so long? Let's just get it over with. Spend a lot of money, figure out what works, what doesn't, and move on with what does.
What was the best life advice that you ever received?
If you don't elevate your personal life, you will drag down your business. You know, I think that really hit home for me because I was in that stage, and Lois Massaro helped me a lot building um, a better person out of myself. And I think that was a big deal because I was definitely dragging down my business by not being the same level as my business was. You know, my business was making a lot of money and I wasn't there um, the same way I should have been as the entrepreneur of that business, you know, as the owner of that business. I felt that I was making a lot of money, but not able to handle the stress properly, run the business properly, manage myself properly. And I was, you know, smoking, doing all kinds of stuff that was not beneficial for my health, was not beneficial for my business. And Louis Massaro really put me on the right path to make sure that I need to be the same level or better or a higher level than my business so that I can uplift my business, not drag it down.
So you said that in order to elevate your business, you need to elevate yourself as the person, right?
Yes.
As individual. What is one daily habit that keeps you productive throughout the day, week, or month?
I think going to the gym is the biggest, most impactful thing in my life. You know, I get to do something really hard in the day and I get to tell myself that today you were not a piece of shit. And I enjoy the workouts. I enjoy, you know, what can I say? I enjoy everything about the gym. I enjoy having muscles. I enjoy having a better mindset out of it. I think that's the biggest and most important thing. When you are in the gym bettering yourself, you're there for an hour or two. And guess what? During those hours, you are bettering yourself and you are thinking about how to better yourself even more in the future. So you are on a path that pushes you to do other things, not just look good, be healthy, but actually push in all other ways, like learn, you know, other skills or whatever you want in your life, and just elevate yourself in every way, right? I think the gym pushes you to be better every day. That really helps me a lot. Like I love going to the saunas after that. Those things like the ice showers, the cold showers, those really help. Those are my favorite things that I almost do not go without starting my day. I don't want to come to the office without hitting the gym first, and I come with the right mindset. I think that's a really important habit.
How many hours per day do you actually work?
I would say probably 8 to 12 hours. I'm here in the office. That's, you know, I'm working all the time, man. If I put all of it together, probably 16 hours a day. One problem I have is I wake up and I go on my phone. I work all the time. When I wake up, I've got already like 20 messages waiting, and it's something I'm trying to avoid because you know, you get sucked into this whole of issues of the day and this and that, and it's not the best way to start your day, right? So if I'm counting everything, I'm working all the time, but I'm trying to build really good structure so that I do things when I'm in the right setting in the office here with you guys. I love being here. I love being with the people that are here. I love working here. It doesn't even feel like work, to be honest. But yeah, I would say 8 to 12 hours a day.
If you weren't in this business, what would you be doing?
Um, I mean, now that I'm here, I see all kinds of doors. I feel like now I'm in the franchising business. I'm in the people business. And Let's Get Moving has allowed that to happen, has opened doors for me to build this with people and build this company. But I think the ultimate goal is always going to be franchising. We're thinking about opening other brands as well. and the home service. I think that's what I'm always going to be in. I love the service business and I love franchising. If it wasn't Let's Get Moving, I would be franchising something similar so that I can be in the business of people, which is what I enjoy.
How do you balance your personal life and business life? How you don't get burnt out?
I do not balance it. That's for sure. And, you know, we had our corporate business. We had like 9 locations, all running, all automated. It was getting boring, man. My life was getting really boring. And then we started franchising and it became fun all over again. You know, now we're back to building stuff, back to, creating things, back to being creative. And this is my favorite place to be, I don't like a dull moment. So now we're in the stages of growing US like crazy. We're opening 5 locations this month alone. So right now, it's not time for balance. As much as I love balance, as much as I love being able to attend my home, my wife, my life in every way possible. But thank God my wife is very understanding. And right now, it's not time for balance for me. Right now, it's time for putting in the work, building something, and then I have the rest of my life to be balanced.
What are important personal traits of your life partner that other business owners should or must look for in order to have a healthy family and a healthy business?
It's a really, really good question you ask. I've been with Sonia almost 15 years now. So we were together very young. We were together living in a basement, and she was there before I even started the business when I was a mover. And a funny story about Sonia, actually, Sonia and moving. Funny story is that I was the kid in high school and university with the condo, with the car, and people would always be at my house, hanging out, having a good time. But it was all fake, When it came down to the day I needed to move, I used to have like 9 guys at my house all the time. When it came the day that I needed to move, everybody said they would be there. When it came day to move, nobody came. It was just me and Sonia. It was just me and Sonia and a U-Haul truck.
Is it because that's why you started Let's Get Moving?
Maybe. Maybe I had such a tough time that day. I said, I don't want this to ever happen to me again. I'm going to start a moving company. So I'm never in this situation ever again. However, you need loyalty. You need a fighter. You need somebody by your side that believes in you, that trusts the process, but most importantly, loves you. Loves you in your bad times, not just your good times. Because as an entrepreneur, you're going to have a lot of bad days. And she's been by my side every single day, every single year, taking care of me, taking care of our house, taking care of everything in the back end while I'm here executing. She takes care of the calls and the marketing, right? She takes care of the back end. I go home to great food every day. I go home to great love every day. I would say that's the most important thing. You need a supportive partner. You need somebody that truly believes in you, that through the hard times, through when you have nothing, doesn't question and is still there by your side.
That
great. Would be an important characteristic.
What about friends and relatives in the business?
Do not bring any friends or relatives to your business.
You had some bad experience? Did you?
I mean, look, it will either be the best thing or the worst thing. It will never be in between, right? With staff, if you don't have a good feeling, they don't have a good feeling here, you can just part ways. But it's hard. It's hard as friends and family. You have to see them outside of this place. So I would say it's tough. I was always against it. Always against it. Now I've got my brother-in-law in the franchise department representing us, representing me. And I could not have anybody better to represent us, So it can either be the worst thing or the best thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I would advise against it because it's very hard to make it the best thing in the world. I'm just very lucky. Remember when I said there was partners? I don't know if you know, but our Surrey location, they're two brothers, right? I actually had a podcast with them here. You should listen. It's great. Great individuals. They started a great location, and now they're looking to open more. But these guys worked really well together. It's so hard to get into arguments and whatever. And they talked a lot about that. I think in the podcast too. They said anytime they had disagreements, they never put aside the business. They always attended the business first, and they always put their emotions aside, which is what I really liked. And now they have an operations manager. It's running great. They're off to live their life, and their business is automated now. Their Let's Get Moving is automated. They're literally making money without ever having to even step foot in that city. They live in a complete different city now. So you can have good family and friends, of course. Especially if you guys are partners together. It's a lot better.
What is one thing that other people don't know about you?
I don't know. I'm a pretty open book.
What's your deepest secret?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now.
Describe leadership in one sentence.
Someone who people look up to. Someone who people look up to. Someone who people trust. Someone who's there for you. That's a leader.
hmm What's one business myth that you want to debunk?
That franchises are a scam.
Why? Isn't it?
I mean, people just think when franchising, they just think it's McDonald's, Pizza, Burger King. That's as far as they can think, right? But there are many business structures out there that work, that can be replicated. And one of it is ours, right? And as you can see, our franchisees are loving it. They're making great money. They're living a great life. We're building a community. So franchising works.
Lots of people say, especially in the business world, that, hey, what stops me from taking the same things that you guys are doing, same model, and just replicate it? Why should I be joining you?
Of course, that's a great question. And I said it once, I'll say it again. Centralization is the biggest key. If you want to recreate the wheel, and I've said this before, I do not think that it's a bad idea to open your own business. I think if you are that person, you should do that, and you shouldn't franchise. There are two types of people. One that wants to follow the system that works, and they want to get to success as quickly as possible, right? And there are other people that do not that are very creative. They want to make their own mark. They want to build a brand. They want to go through the hardship of 5 years, 10 years to build all these departments, build all these structures, build all these roles and responsibilities, right? And my hat off to them. They're that's how businesses are created in the world, right? And one can't go without the other. So I would say you should do what matches with your characteristics. If you like to, have guidance, go with a franchise. If you don't want to listen to people and you want to do your own thing, by all means, build a brand, go through the hardship, but you will also reap different kind of benefits in 10 years, 15 years, right? But with franchising, you can get to financial freedom in a year, right? And represent a good brand, and that becomes part of you. That becomes your brand, right?
Got it.
So you should do what matches your personality.
Is it true that even if you take the same system and put it in a different context, in the different teams with different people, it will not work? Is it correct?
It's hard to say. If you have an understanding of how to build the systems, if you've done it before, then you get the concept, you get the understanding, and you can do it, right? I feel like I'm in that place now. I feel like I can take some core individuals from here and, for example, build a landscaping company or a painting company and do this all over again. Franchise it, build corporate locations, build a brand.
So it's not the system, it's the people.
People and processes. I think people come with experience, and that's what really helps us being able to build brand new processes, being able to build brand new systems.
Got it.
I mean, I've said a couple of different things. The first one being that you can never save yourself to success. You're not going to be able to have truck payments, insurance payments, rent payments, marketing payments, and then you say, I just want to run one truck, or I only want to spend this much in marketing, or I want to save and get a warehouse outside of the city when we move people and you have to be inside the city specifically for trying to save $500. They go to a location that can absolutely not work for them. So you cannot save yourself to success, and you need to listen to the system and listen to the franchisor who has done it before and who knows what's right. Go after burgers, not fries. That's our motto right now, because there are lots of great locations available, and our business does not want to start with fries. And what I mean by that is we do not want to start with smaller locations. We need to go in the city, in the heart of the city, and make a brand, start big, and then we can take the outer areas, the fries. So I always say, start with the burgers. You cannot walk when your business is running. What I mean by that is your business requires a lot of revenue and a lot of income when you're paying for trucks, when you're paying for insurance, when you're paying for Google ads, when you're paying for rent, when you've got workers insurance, all these costs, they are running. They're not waiting for you. So you need to be running, and you need to be making good revenue to match that and make profit. So if you're trying to go slowly while your rent and insurance, those things are not going slowly. Those things are not walking with you. They are running past you. So you need to run faster than them.
If you had to start over again, what would you do differently?
This is a great question. What would I do differently? I would, I'm hoping to redo this a couple of times. I'm hoping to open different brands and franchise them and be in the people business. I would say invest in the core people, invest in the right people, invest in the right processes, and work on the bigger goal right away, right? Like, I had no goal when I started a moving company. I was just trying to make some money. I was just trying to buy a second truck or open a second location. Try to have much bigger goals. Try to figure out your exit strategy. Try to figure out, where are you trying to go with this business? Are you trying to open multiple corporate locations? Are you trying to open franchises? What is the business model you're going after? Try to understand where you're going before you start running and before you start spending money.
Now, a couple of personal questions. Okay. Something fun.
FIFA.
What's your favorite movie or TV show?
FIFA.
You don't watch anything?
I mean, I go home, I watch some boring movies just for my wife. But at any time she's not by the TV, I'm playing FIFA. That's my favorite thing to do. That's what gets me to relax. That's what gets me to shut off my brain. And Sunday mornings, that's what I'm doing.
What's Tiam's favorite music genre?
Honestly, I listen to everything, man. You should see my Apple Music. When I'm the DJ, like, for example, like, I remember this time we were like on a yacht in Miami with a couple of the Tighten Up guys, and I was playing just all kinds of music. That's just who I am. And they were like, what an interesting mix of genres. I would literally listen to good music, man. I don't think there's a thing as good genre. I think there's good music. And within every genre, there's great music. I'll listen to rock, I'll listen to hip hop, I'll listen to pop, I'll listen to anything you can think of, as long as it's good.
For anyone who is interested, you can Google Tiam Bigdarwandan SoundCloud, and you'll find his old playlists.
Don't do it.
What is your guilty pleasure outside of the work?
Desserts. I love desserts, and I literally I feel the guilt the day after too. I'm literally at the gym. I'm like, why did I do this to myself? And I would say, yeah, that's probably my biggest. What did you say? Guilt? What?
Guilty pleasure.
Guilty pleasure. Yeah, when we eat dinner, man, I just look at my wife. I'm like, so, what's next? I have a sweet tooth.
How was your childhood like? what did form you as the business owner? I remember you told me a story about your
Oh man,
escape.
oh man, you're going, you're going to crazy places. I mean, I've been through a lot. I don't know. Some people know my childhood story. Some people don't. Um, I can tell you the story, but I think the biggest outcome out of it is the hardship that you go through is what you do with it. You either treat life like it's nothing and you don't appreciate the opportunity that you've been given, or you take it with everything you've got and you turn your past into something amazing, hopefully, right? To a certain extent, I mean, to a certain age, your life is not in your hands. You have no idea what's going on around you. But when you do, you should take control and live life the right way. So, with regards to my childhood, I don't know. A lot of people don't know this, but I was born here in Canada, Toronto. My parents, they met in Italy. They were university. They met there. They came here. They had me. My mom was a doctor. She became a doctor in Italy. She had a European degree. Couldn't practice here, so they had me here. And my mom was sweeping restaurants as a doctor, and it just wasn't working out for them here. I was a kid. I didn't know anything. I was like 8 months old. They went back to Iran. And over there they unfortunately separated. They got a divorce, and it was tough, man. It was tough. I was 1 year here, 1 year there, 1 year with my uncle, 1 year this city, that city, and until grade 9, I had never been at a school more than 1 year, which was crazy. So in Iran, they favor, I guess, male a lot more. So opposite of Canada, if you get a divorce, they give you to your dad. And mind you that my mom was kind of doing better. She was a doctor. She had a clinic. Family was doing really well. So very rare occasion, they actually gave me to my mom. My dad, my dad's an interesting character. Very lovable, but he's got a big ego. And that sometimes makes you do things that you probably shouldn't. My dad, he was thinking about my future, and he was kind of thinking that, hey, there's really not much in Iran. He actually came and kidnapped me from school. So I still remember it was a Thursday after school. I was just about to walk into the bus, and he called me over. I had no idea what's a divorce, what's happening with them. I still loved my dad. I still had the same instincts, and same thing for my mom. I didn't know what's going on. So I loved my dad. I listened to him. I had a feeling towards him. So I went with him. So his goal was to actually, because I was legally with my mom. This was actually all over the news in Iran. My dad's plan was to, because I'm Canadian, I have a Canadian passport. His plan was to get us to a different country where we can go to the embassy and apply our case. So he decided to go to Turkey. And we couldn't just go to Turkey. We couldn't leave the country. I was legally supposed to be with my mom. So his plan was to smuggle us across the border. And that's what he did. He's crazy. He found these smugglers that don't actually smuggle people. They smuggle stuff, I presume drugs or whatever. And he paid them more to smuggle us as people. It was a city bordering Iran and Turkey. Man, I left my mom's good house to go to a smuggler's home. We were literally sleeping in the tavern where the animals were sleeping because there was a lot of raids happening all the time. That was the city where a lot of smugglers lived, so they would keep raiding the homes. So that's why we couldn't stay in the house. And a bunch of times we got raided. We had to run away. My dad broke his arm. Crazy stuff happened. But the plan was to get on a horse and go across the mountain. Coldest night of my life. There was snow up to like our knees. And there was like 50 or 60 horses. Me and my dad, we were the only people that were being smuggled. Everybody else had just two big bags beside them and one rider. I was behind a rider. My dad was behind a rider. And the saddle was made for one person. It was a very painful ride. But the first night we actually went a couple hours. I don't know exactly, but my dad saw some light. He was telling the rider, some parts of the story is actually from my dad's point of view. He's like, because I wasn't near him at that time. He told the rider, he's like, look, I see lights up there. And he's like, oh, that's just our friends telling us to go this way. He's like, as soon as I said that, they started shooting in the air. They were border cops. They were Turkey border police. They were yelling, dude, mean stop. I don't know where they were shooting, but I'm hoping they were shooting in the air. All we could hear is just guns and all the horses that we were with. They would try to keep us in the middle. Everybody else was kind of everywhere. They would try to keep us in the middle because we were the people. And I saw these horses just turn into race horses. Man, these horses were like, excuse me, but they were shitting and farting everywhere, going up crazy mountains. It was crazy. And they just turn around 180 and they just are going fast like race horses. I see my dad falling off the horse. He lost his shoe. We lost each other for like 30 minutes, and then everybody gathered in some little section. Then me and my dad, we finally found each other. It was crazy, man. And we went back to the city. You want to know how old I was? I was 8 years old at that time. And I was the only child. And we went back to the city. We went back to that home. And the next day, my dad was, we're doing it again. But a different route. And I'm there crying, not wanting to go. My dad was like, okay, we'll send you back. I'm like crying, putting on my clothes, ready to go. It's crazy. It was fucked up. And we do it again. And we literally come out of a forest. And we're in Turkey. I don't even know what city we were in, but we got into a small van right there. They took us, fed us a little breakfast. It was like 5 a.m. I slept a little bit. And then we went to the city called Van. This is where the embassy is. And we go there. The most messed up part was my dad had no money. My dad had no money doing all this stuff. I have no idea where you get kind of confidence to do all these things, but he had no money, and we were living in a home with like a bunch of people with no hot water, no food. It was a terrible situation. And we go to the embassy and they tell my dad, they're like, we do not believe that you are his dad. Passports, everything matching. So they say you need to do a DNA test. They make us wait 2 years and 8 months to do a DNA test. And mind you, during this time, like I just left my beautiful home with my mom, who are completely educated and so on. And now I'm in a place with no family, no friends. My dad is working full time for $3 per day, $90 a month. And our rent was $60. We were living as poor as you can. And I was honestly a street kid. I didn't even know what I was. I would wake up, have no plans, no school, no family, no friends, no nothing to do. So I would just roam around the streets. I would just do nothing. My dad worked at a coffee shop. They had like a billiard table. And I played like billiard for like 2 years. And I became really good at it. So my life was in the air, man. I was living as poor, as little guidance as you can think of. And I kind of lost any sort of path. So after 2 years and 8 months, they actually do a DNA test on us. We get approved, we get a ticket, and we're going to go to Montreal. My dad had a stepsister there. We went there with like negative $1,500. My dad used to work at a pizza store in Montreal prior. So he went back to the same store and he got a job at the same store 14 years later. It was crazy. And we slowly started to build a life. And mind you, I was a street kid. I came to Montreal and I still didn't go to school. I would be in the bus, riding the subway everywhere. I knew the subway like the back of my hand. I was just roaming around. I was literally a street kid with no school, no guidance, no friends, no family, nothing. And I don't know if you remember, in No Frills or those stores, there used to be these machines where you put cans, empty cans, Coke, whatever, inside, and it would give you 5 cents back. I would collect cans off the street, off the floor, sometimes off the garbage.
First hustle.
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, that was my first job, I guess. I didn't know what I was doing with my life. I didn't know what to do with my life. So I was collecting cans and I was depositing them. And I remember a day I came to my dad and I showed him like a $6 receipt or something. He was like, wow, you're making more money than me, as a joke. Instead, he should have said something else, But anyhow, he was always lovable. Maybe he just didn't have the right guidance. We're all living for the first time, right? So in Montreal, he got a job, and after a year, we came to Toronto. That was his goal, to come to Toronto and live here. So we did. We came here. I was in grade 8. Thank God, Iran's math is ahead of Canada. So when I came here, I was in grade, I think 6 or 7, and I passed the math test, believe it or not. Believe it or not, I passed the math test. I hadn't been to school for 2 years. And they were like, okay, you don't need to go back. Even though I hadn't studied for the last 3 years, they just shoved me in with the 6th graders. And it was tough, man. Not knowing English, not being from this country, not even being educated for the last 3 years. I was an outcast, So I've been through it all. Man. And then when I went to grade 9 and going into grade 10, that was the first year I went to Thornlea. That was the first year I was in one school more than 1 year. My entire life when I was a kid. 1 year with the uncle, 1 year with the dad, 1 year with the mom, 1 year with the aunt. And I finally was able to build a little structure in my life. You want to hear the craziest part? For 7 or 8 years, my mom had no idea where I was. No idea. She became depressed, and I think, I'm sure everybody will say this about their mom, but I think she's the best mom in the entire fucking world. And that was the hardest thing on her, right? Not knowing where I was. So I told you, my dad has a big ego, and he always tries to control everything. And when I became 15, I was I was uncontrollable. And, I would come 5-10 minutes late home. He would not have it. He would not be okay with it. That's how he was, That's how he was. That's how they are, back home. They don't care, man. So I was 15, and man, there was one day he kicked me out, and I had enough. I was like, I'm good. I went to my friend's house. I stayed there, and the day after, I went to welfare. I went to the welfare office, and I said, I have no home. I have no money. I have nowhere to go. So they asked a little bit, and they found out, about my dad. And they were like, we need to call your dad. I was like, all right, let's call him. So they did. They called my dad right in front of me. And my dad was like, he can go do whatever he wants. I don't care. The lady was like, whoa. Believe it or not, they cut me a $2,500 check right there. Yeah, they cut me a $2,500 check right there. They're like, go find a place to live, go buy groceries, go whatever. And I found a basement for $500 a month. There was some Persian guy, so I didn't need, credit and all that stuff. It was a terrible place, but it was my place, you know. So I paid the $500 or first and last, and I bought some stuff, and I had like $1,000 left. So I went and bought a big Doberman with it, a very very big dog. And so then I wasn't alone anymore, you know. I had a friend. And then I called my mom. And I was like, "Hey, I'm 15. I'm not talking to my dad. I need some help." And I had no idea. I was living broke. I was living with a welfare check. Now she's doing good. She's doing good in Iran. She's
What
a
did you say?
doctor. She had a clinic. She was doing good, you know? Man, she was so happy to hear from me. She's been nothing but an angel. There's not been a second in my entire life that she's been anything but an angel. So she was just very happy to hear from me. And believe it or not, she came to Canada right away. She came
For
to Canada
you.
right away, huh?
For you.
Of course, yeah. She came to Canada. And she completely turned my life around. Completely. She started putting me in the right schools. She started to put me in university after. She got me a condo. She got me a car. She pretty much took me from the wrong direction, picked me up and said, "This is the route you got to go." And I'm forever going to be thankful to her because I think she was the first ever inspiration to a better path, you know? So then she helped me build my life back up. Get a business, go to university. And now obviously I work with my dad. I love him to death. Everything is always good, but that was the crazy part of my life, being smuggled out of there. You know, even in Turkey, those 3 years, the 2 years and 8 months that we were there, he was impatient. He was trying to actually smuggle us into Greece. Yeah, which he did. It was crazy. We were like with like 9 people. He took us. There was like 2 smugglers that were trying to take us across the river. It's a very famous river. There's actually a movie about it. And we got to the river. There were kids younger than me traveling with us, trying to get smuggled to Greece. They were grandmas, grandpas, old people. And these 2 young guys that were controlling everything, we were supposed to cross this river. We had an inflatable boat. These 2 guys, they went across, and the inflatable boat was attached to a rope. We were supposed to pull it back. There was a river with a crazy current. And when those guys got across, when we were pulling the rope, they cut it. They cut it, and we literally watched the boat just go by us. And we're there like 9 people, old, young, not knowing what to do. And we just walked for 6 hours. We just walked for 6 hours to get to this place. It was insane. So we walked all the way back. We walked to the hotel with these old people, with these young. It was crazy. We went through crazy things in Turkey. But somehow I'm still here.
So having this tough childhood,
Yeah.
did you ever visit a psychologist?
Not for that. No, never.
What's your take on psychologists, like for business owners?
I mean, I think you need to know like a specific thing to talk to them about, right? Like if you have an issue, then you should specifically talk about that issue. I'm sure there's a lot of childhood trauma that can affect who we are now as adults.
Part 1 stops right here, but follow us for part 2. It will be coming soon.